I'm going to turn the tables on you today. I'm going to start out by asking you a question. Why do you think that most 50-year-olds don't retire? Let's assume that they have a heart for adventure and they'd love to be able to travel. They'd love to be able to spend more time with their family, or maybe get involved in a not-for-profit. Why don't those people retire in their 50s? And you're probably thinking, well, Azul, it's a pretty easy question. They don't retire because they're not sure if they have enough money, or they know that they don't have enough money. And so in today's video, I'm going to take you inside of the tent of a financial advisor and share a couple important points with you so that you have a better understanding of maybe you have a much higher likelihood of not running out of money than what you think. So one of the tools that financial advisors use is a Monte Carlo simulation. And we do our best to estimate the likelihood of our client never running out of money. We don't have 100% certainty, but we can get really, really good clarity. And usually the conversation will go something along the lines of, I, Mr. Financial Advisor, think that you client, a 97% and 98% likelihood of never running out of money. Sometimes, it's 80%, but we share that. But the question most people don't ask, and I try to make this clear to my clients, is, that's a worst case scenario, and obviously that's what we want to plan for. But your odds are like 5 times higher that you're going to die with a lot of money. You're not going to be in that worst case scenario, right? That is one of the 3% worst cases. If you had 100, it's the 3 worst cases. Well, there's 97, there's 96 other cases where the outcomes are much better. And you know what? There's 20 or 30 of them where they're quite spectacular, actually. You're going to die with millions of dollars. So I want to start off with that. Just don't over-focus on it. It's important, but don't over-focus on what that probability of success is. For a lot of folks, going from an 80% likelihood of success to a 97% likelihood of success takes several years. It can take 3, 5, 7 years. That's a lot of years off of your life. So you want to dig deep in that. I want you to, this is not financial advice for you. I don't know your situation, but I do encourage you to work with a financial advisor. And I want you to dig deep on that and just find out, what are you giving up to get to that 97% likelihood? And is that something that's important to you? So today, I said I'm going to take you inside of the tent. I'm going to share with you the 5 things that drive the likelihood of success and determine whether or not you're going to run out of money, or factors that play a major role in that. And the first one is your investment strategy, right? The first thing is your, what I call asset allocation. What percent of your portfolio is in stocks? What percent's in bonds? And a typical, I'm not saying this is right for you. It's not financial advice for you. I don't know your situation, but I do want you to put these things on your radar screen so you can be a better consumer of your own finance. The asset allocation we talked about, a typical asset allocation for a retiree might be half in stocks, half in bonds, 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds, something like that. And that's going to determine 80% of your investment outcome over time. So you really want to spend a lot of time on that. Oftentimes people gloss over that and then spend a lot of time in the weeds. I don't want you doing that. So that's the first one. The next one is, what is your withdrawal rate? That example earlier where I was sharing with you a 97% likelihood of success, that's based on your withdrawal rate. And a good place to start is to look at about 4%. So if you had $1 million, that would say for most people over a 30-year period, they'd have a pretty good likelihood of not running out of money. If they had $1 million, if they withdrew $40,000 a year. If you have a $500,000, you can withdraw 4% a year. So that would be $20,000. So that's a good place to start. You don't want to retire based on a rule of thumb, but it's a good place to start. But on your investment side, the factor that's going to have the biggest impact on whether you succeed or not. And that's just your mental fortitude when things get scary out there. Are you going to be able to stay the course, or is the mental pain of the market being down 30, 40, maybe 50%? Don't think it can happen. It happened less than 20 years ago. During the great financial crisis, the market top to bottom was down almost 60%. That'll take just about everybody's breath away. And can you withstand something like that? Now remember, if your portfolio is half in bonds and half in stocks, the theory and the hope is that you only feel half of that pain. But still, half of 60% is down 30%. So factors contributing to your success and whether you run out of money or not is whether whether you can stay the course, whether you can avoid being a forced seller in a down market because your emotions got the better of you and you couldn't sleep at night and you needed the pain to stop, which is not uncommon. In fact, I would say that's the human experience. So make sure you get that asset allocation. The next thing is your decision on Social Security. Again, this is not financial advice for you, but if taking Social Security allows you to retire earlier than you otherwise would have, I think it makes a lot of sense to looking to doing that. Even if somebody like myself runs the financial models and say, oh, you're much better off waiting to full retirement age, or you're better off waiting to 70. You know what, if you can retire 3, 4, 5 years earlier because you take Social Security early, there's a lot to be said for that, because those are years you will never, ever get back. Those are your healthiest, most active years. So another factor is looking at Social Security and getting that right. Another factor on when if you'll outlive your money, which you don't want to happen, is just longevity. How long are you going to live? And none of us know that, right? And in some ways, I wish I knew that. In other ways, I'm glad I don't know that for me personally. But if you're relatively healthy, if your family has longevity on their side, probably plan on living a long time. I generally plan on my clients living to 90, unless they have some kind of ongoing health issue right now that we know about. But in general, I plan on 90, but there are clients that come in and, hey, my mom lived to 106, my dad lived to 98. Well, you know what, we should, and that person's in good health. We should probably plan for more longevity. Something else I want to put on your radar screen is something that's called I want to make sure I get the terminology right. It's a longevity annuity, also known as a deferred income annuity. So you can buy an annuity which will pay you cash. It's only going to kick in when you turn 80 or something like that. Now, you saw I had to look at my notes to find the name of that. I'm not licensed to sell annuities. I do not want to be licensed to sell annuities, but it is something that you should know about. And I think longevity annuities are one of the annuities that can make sense for people, particularly if you have longevity in your life. That's something you can get to kick in case you do live well past 90. You've got an annuity giving you guaranteed income every month for a period of time. Again, look up somebody that's licensed to sell annuities. I just want to put it on your radar screen. Okay, the other thing with longevity is long-term care. The reality is once we hit 65 years old, 80% of us are going to need long-term care. And you know what? It ain't cheap. So you can buy long-term care insurance. I'm not licensed to sell insurance. I don't want to be licensed. I'm what's called a fee-only financial advisor. So I don't accept commissions on anything. But I want you to know about it. There is long-term care insurance. Most people in their 40s or 50s is when they end up buying long-term care insurance. It tends to get quite a bit more expensive afterwards. But again, there's things you can to insure yourself against those risks. Another thing you can do to insure yourself against risk is take care of this body that you have, right? This is our vehicle through life. This is my vehicle, the only vehicle I get that's going to take me all the way through retirement. And so do I want to take care of this vehicle? You bet I do. Do I want to invest time in trying to do healthy things, go to the gym, eat healthy food, grocery shop? You bet I do. I'll probably look back at that and say that was one of my best investments. It'll probably be relationships and investing in my health. And I suspect you'll feel the same way too. So take care of your health, invest in your health. Another factor causes people to run out of money during their lifetime. And you're not going to want to hear this, but sometimes a financial advisor needs to share the hard truth with people. And so I'm doing this with you. Oftentimes what happens is people have enough money to retire, but they make silly decisions. Your goal in retirement is to continue to make a series of good decisions so that you don't put in jeopardy a well thought out, well planned. And some of the ways that I see that is either people spending a lot more than they should be because they just don't know how much they can spend, or they're unnecessarily sacrificed. And both of those can lead to regret. But the big one, if you have adult kids, this is where I see plans can go from very healthy to, kind of not so healthy anymore, is being overly generous with adult kids, helping them maybe go back to graduate school, helping them put a down payment on a house, helping them buy a nicer car, a bigger home, whatever it is. And you know what? They have mortgages, they have loans for homes, they're called mortgages. They have loans for cars, they're called car loans. They have loans for going back to school and getting your graduate degree, they're called student loans. But you know what kind of loan that they don't have? They don't have retirement loans. So I want you to be really, really careful with spending money on your adult children. Make sure the biggest gift any of us can give our kids is mom and dad being financially healthy and our children knowing they don't have to worry about mom and dad financially. They can live their best lives and know that mom and dad are going to be fine financially. So just be careful there. And then I also want to share with you, just be careful with debt. You know, if you're still working, when interest rates dropped last time, there were people like, oh, they're giving away money. Well, they kind of were, but you still got to pay it back. So, you know, the math between buying a new and a used car, you know, if you can save 33% on a used car, even if they're giving away the money, for me, now this is my value system, and I'm not making any judgment at all on anybody else. If cars are your thing, go for it. You know, you've worked hard for your money. But just be careful with debt. I think the sooner we can get out of debt, the better we are and the more options and alternatives we have to maybe retire early. And along that line, I want you to exercise your option to watch this video here, which are 7 things that I want you to think about stop doing in order to enjoy your 50s and 60s more until you finally do get to retire. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.